Good morning, everyone!
Good morning!
Here we are, another day with the camera and us making videos for the people of the world. Coming this morning. I lost it a bit there.
Lee Mead used to do something like that, but he used to do it with two brothers. For some reason it was always two brothers.
What's new? Here we are, another day in front of the camera. Any news? Not really.
Don't think so.
Not much news. But we watched something interesting last night.
We did watch something really interesting last
Muy
night.
interesante.
On Broadway HD.
Yeah.
It was called Repeat Attenders. And it was actually recommended by someone in the emails, but I can't remember who it was.
So thanks for that.
So thank you. But it's about people who go to the theatre to see the same show again and again and again because they love it. I make like a little brief cameo in the background. You can see my back at Stage Door at Les Mis because there was a woman who used to come to Stage Door. She used to come to see the show a lot. I think it was like every Saturday. And whilst I was there playing Eponine back in like 2013, 2014, she reached her 1000th show. If you think it took me 3 years to get to 1,000 performances, but that was doing 8 shows a week, every night, nearly every day for 3 years, but she was only coming every Saturday or like once a week to reach 1,000 shows. She's been a fan of the show, well, like since it opened.
Yeah, she was so sweet because she would just stand at Stage Door and she wouldn't like impose herself on anyone. She'd just like lean against the wall and be like, "You alright?"
Yeah, she'd just say hello as we came in.
Yeah, she was really sweet.
Every cast change, she'd get like the new programme.
Yeah.
And she also figured out when everyone, like every cast change, she would ask everyone when their birthday was, and then she'd give us all a mug on our birthdays.
Aww, that's
and it was always really funny as well though, because we always got excited about the soup mug. Like if you'd been there for 2 years, you got the soup mug. So it was like a mug that had like 2 little handles on the side and it was like slightly bigger.
Yeah.
I remember getting my soup mug and being really happy.
Yeah. There was another person in the documentary who was like obsessed with Starlight Express, and it boiled down to the reason why she sort of had a passion for it so much was because of her parents. And it was really sad because she got into theatre school and she wanted to pursue that, but her parents were like, no.
It was her dad, wasn't it?
Yeah, dad was like, get back in the car, it's not happening. And then she just became sort of obsessed with it because that's something that she longed after.
Yeah, it was like she was sort of living through Starlight Express.
Yeah, and then obviously she had a daughter, and luckily her daughter loved musicals as well, because there was a point early on when she was about probably early teenage years, and the guys who make the documentary said something like, "Are you sure this is what she wants to do? She's not just living your dream and you're making her dress up as like Pearl from Starlight Express."
And she's scared to say to you, "This isn't what I want to do."
Yeah.
She doesn't want to like disappoint you.
But yeah, watch it and find out what happens. But it's a nice ending. Anyway.
It's just interesting. I find stuff like that really interesting anyway, just because I'm just fascinated by people and musical theatre, and this is like people who love musical theatre. So
yeah, it made me sort of think that obviously not everyone, but it seemed like the people who were fanatics about a show who would come back and see a show countless times, it was either like filling a void in their life or making up for something that's happened prior.
yeah,
That's not always the case, I'm sure, but it's just really interesting.
yeah,
Like people found comfort in that show for whatever reason, and it was like it became not like a drug because I don't think they're addicted, but it became sort of like an antidote to how they normally feel when they're not in that theatre, and it was just really sweet.
yeah.
Other than the woman featured in the show, have you had like many people like in Les Mis?
Oh my god, yeah. Oh yeah, there's like lots and lots of like individual people who used to come back time and time again.
Yeah.
There's a woman who used to dress up as Javert.
Oh yeah.
She used to come a lot. And there was a guy, bless him, I don't think he ever came to Stage Door because I don't ever remember meeting him. But he used to sit front row and sing along, so we used to call him Sing Along Gary.
We had in Mormon, I'm not sure if it happens anymore, but with Mormon they do like a lottery, so it's £20 tickets. So that, like, the fans went crazy for that because it's cheap and it's front row, and if there's a lot of you, you can all put your names in and you circle 2 tickets. So say there's 10 people, there's 10 fans who meet up on a Saturday, to watch both shows, for example, if there's 10 of them, and you all put one in each, and that's 20 tickets, because you circle 2 tickets. So really, they only need to win 5 times.
Yeah.
So yeah, the fans at Mormon used to come out a lot.
Heather's was like that as well. We had Heather's Haymarket specifically. We had a group of fans who used to come and get the day tickets on a Saturday,
I remember that.
and used to sit front row.
I think it's good. I think it's healthy. Well, I think it's good that people do that and find something they enjoy and like gives them happiness. And I feel like no one should ever like take that away from them in any walks of life. So say you really like pottery, I don't know, anything.
Yeah.
That someone might be like, that sucks. Why are you doing that? I think that's not fair. So if you are one of those people who loves musicals, I think do it. But there was a person in the documentary who crossed the line.
Oh my god. I just couldn't understand. I couldn't get my head around what he was saying. I don't even think he knew what he meant.
It seemed to me, for the guys who might have watched it, I might be wrong here, and because I couldn't really understand what he was saying, because he was speaking in like metaphors and stuff, and rather than just making his point. I think what he was trying to say was, who was the woman again?
Debbie Gibson.
Debbie Gibson, because she was a pop star, it seemed like, at a young age, that she saved him in terms of he knew he was a bad person. He knew he had these like dark thoughts, but because of her, he didn't want to do them. He didn't want to act on them because he like sort of doted after her, and yeah, she's more important than him. And basically, I think that's what he was saying.
But he like became her stalker.
Yeah,
like, it was all a bit
it was way too much. Like way, and he went to jail. So I mean, that's how much it was.
There was something really interesting that was said though about like people who give gifts at stage door.
Yeah.
And it was like these 2 girls talking about how they are like massive musical theatre fans, but now they're a little bit older than when they were sort of going to stage door a lot in their teenage years. They were looking back on the sorts of things that they used to do, and they were saying how they used to spend so much money on buying people gifts, and it wasn't really about the gift, it was about the attention that they would receive from giving the gift. So if they turned up with a gift, it meant that that person had to acknowledge them and had to acknowledge them giving them the gift. And like she was like, I didn't really care about what it was. Like obviously I picked something that I thought they might like, but it wasn't about that. It was about this.
Yeah, and if you do get a gift at stage door, normally you spend more time with them.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh my god, thank you so much. What? You don't have to do this, and then before you know it, you're having a little conversation.
A conversation about the gift, yeah.
I will say though, this is a bit of inside knowledge. If you're an actor and you get a gift, or you're making a gift for an actor, that is, don't bake cakes. Just don't do it. Only because it just takes one person in the cast. It could be a lovely lemon drizzle cake, and it could be amazing and really tasty. But it just takes one person to go, oh, I won't have that. And then all of a sudden, it just passes around the room, around the building, and I was like, oh, that's, don't have that. Which is so unfair. So I just think.
But also I think it's more than that. I think there have been some cases of like malicious intent where people have hidden like razor blades inside cakes.
And hairs.
And hair from places on the body other than the head. But a friend of mine cut into a cake and it was filled with hair from other than the head.
Toes.
It's also a case of like food poisoning. I know it sounds awful when we like, I trust you guys to make your food responsibly, but if someone bakes something for the cast and everyone eats it, and there was something dodgy about it, that's the whole cast gone down. So no one ever really wants to risk it.
No.
So
they never. Cakes get put in the company office or wherever, green room. I don't know. They rarely get touched.
Yeah.
It's just because, I guess it's just like an unwritten rule, really.
Well, it's just. Yeah.
And those stories fly about.
Yeah.
Like people, it just takes one person.
It just makes people a little bit more like untrusting, and the risk is too great for the sake of a brownie.
Although we do like a brownie.
Do you like a brownie?
Well, so I think you should go and watch it if you have time.
It's really good. It's really good. If you're interested in that kind of thing, it's definitely worth a watch.
I want to talk about something else. I feel like we did that. So this is an email I got before, and it's from someone called Macy White. Lovely name. And they said, I was wondering if you could talk about how you prepare for roles that involve you having to cry on command. whether it be in an audition or a performance. I know different actors have different methods for this, but I would be interested in hearing your own specific strategies. So crying on cue.
I feel like auditions and actual performances kind of have their own rules, because I feel like the panel know in an audition that it's a real like heightened sense of nerves, and you're not in the environment that you would be in where you're on stage. You might not even be working with another actor. Like if it's like an emotional scene, you could be working with someone who's like we've said before, just the casting director reading lines. So it's like, I think they're a lot more forgiving when it comes to doing things like crying on cue.
Yeah, and there's no journey there.
Yeah, you've literally plucked a scene out of the middle of a show and just gone, wow,
I think if it's too heightened, you know, if you went to like level 10 of emotions, they'd be like, wow, this person's on the edge.
Yeah, it's too much.
It's too much, because there's no journey. It's just like, you're like, Jesus. So I feel like, yeah, you're right. In auditions, it's it's a lot more tame. You don't want to see like you bawling your eyes out, because it feels sort of manufactured.
Yeah.
Because like I said, there's no journey. It's just
it is manufactured.
Yeah, it's just one scene. Just like, there we go. My sort of advice, or my sort of thing that I would ever say for crying or getting there, is everything you put in beforehand needs to be like in place. For me, I know some people can go bam and cry. I can't do that unless I just like stare at a big light, and I can't really do that on stage for like 3 minutes. Like hold it, or just like get an onion out my pocket.
Yeah.
But it's everything leading up to that point where you have to get to. For me. So the stakes are high in the scenes beforehand. The only job I ever had that warranted me getting there was High Fidelity. Because it was like dramatic, and there was stakes, and there was like love and loss and death and all that sort of stuff that you would cry about. So that was important for Rob in the end. However, it wasn't always important. As in, I found for me, I wasn't always crying. Some days I didn't. Some days I did. And I never like beat myself up about it, because it's 8 shows a week, and it's not TV.
Yeah.
You don't have to do one take and go, bye, see you at the premiere. Like, it's not that. It's an organic thing. But talking about getting there and everything being in place beforehand, there was one time where the cast, like, you weren't on stage, so there's me and a girl called Bobby, who was playing like my best friend in this piece. And this is a scene where we're chatting about like Laura, my ex-girlfriend, who like I'm still in love with and all that sort of stuff. Her father has just died, so it's like really sucks.
Yeah.
And my best friend saying you have to go to the funeral, because she's not invited you, but I know, she's gonna need you there, and she wants you there. And my character, being my character, just sort of like brushes it off and goes, oh no, you know, I'm moving on, like, and just doesn't really handle it well. And this is literally before the first bit of argument. He raises his voice really and gets a bit emotional. Is because his best friend's like, I'm washing my hands of you because you're just a kid, you're an arse, and everyone's life doesn't revolve around you. You're not the center of everyone's universe. And that, like, obviously that's the first like chink in his armor, and then it goes on to later on when he cries. Anyway, so that scene, we're doing it, and I can hear people in the wings like laughing, not at me or anyone else, but they're just joking about.
Yeah.
And so then I do that scene, and I don't get to where I need to get for later on in the piece. And I'm like a pretty nice, chilled guy, so I didn't go out. I didn't come off and go, fucking hell, guys, what the hell was that? You're ruining my piece, you're ruining my acting. And that's like one of my first breaks, or like my only break in Act 2. So I came off, and most of the cast are still like off stage, like, so we're in like the quick change area. And I just said, I was like, listen guys, like, I don't need to be that person, and I hate that I'm having this conversation with you right now. However, if you're gonna mess about or like joke about or just be a bit silly or whatever, can you not do it in that scene? Or, you know, because it's really important for me to get somewhere. And also it's like, it was just me and Bobby on stage. And if you go to the Turbine, it's a really small theatre. So I'm like, I could just hear you laughing, guys.
And it makes it more exposing for you as well if you're not getting to where you need to be.
I was just like, and they were amazing. The cast of High Fidelity were just ridiculous anyway, like talented, but really, really nice. And they were like, oh my god, Ollie, we're so sorry, and it didn't happen again. But that was like something crime-wise, a little story for you. But yeah, I think my advice for someone who can't cry in queue, you have to lay the groundwork before that scene. You can't just expect to walk into that scene and go, well, here we go, hopefully I get emotional. Like, it builds.
I've got a whole, like, thing about being myself on stage. I hate it. So the more I can invest in the character that I'm playing, and the more I can forget Carrie Hope Fletcher, the better. So when you're playing characters like Fontaine, who has like one of the most tragic stories and the most tragic timelines of any character, getting emotional doesn't feel difficult. Her storyline is like so far removed from me that I find it easier to just completely lose myself in it and just completely immerse myself in it.
Yeah, you got to invest in it. Invest in them.
And it is about the, because obviously there were some nights when things, you know, would go wrong on stage and I would have to switch on like my brain and go, oh god, something's gone wrong, how am I going to fix this, what does this mean for my show now, like from like a safety and like a practical point of view, which would then take you out of it enough to sort of like distance you from that kind of emotion. And those would be the nights when I wouldn't cry until like maybe later on in the journey, like maybe until like the death scene, or, you know, it wouldn't be I Dreamed a Dream. Heather's was the hardest one I felt for emotion up until I Say No. Because Veronica's just on stage constantly, and like it's such a roller coaster, because it goes from like really high energy stuff like Big Fun to Dead Girl Walking to someone dying, but it's also like someone dying comically, so there wouldn't really be any room for like emotional crying. And so much happens up to like Our Love Is God, but Our Love Is God, there's like a verse where it would be warranted that you'd cry, because he's like, they made you cry, like, and obviously you need to be sort of, you know, vaguely emotional for that bit, but then instantly it goes into the phone call with Ram Sweeney where it's like, I can't even remember what she says, but she's like trying to be like seductive and sexy and stuff, and so it like goes like that so much. So for me it would all be like when it breaks at I Say No. I remember it, and it would always be the same bit where I used to have to like give myself a stern talking to, because I'm the worst. If I start crying, my throat comes off, I'm not talking about that, I can't sing before. So I had to like give myself a stern inward monologue being like, hold back, hold back. But it was always, blame your childhood, blame your dad, blame the life you never had. And I used to be like, I couldn't get it out because I used to get really sad. Obviously it really helps when you're playing opposite someone who's like in it. Because if you're playing opposite someone who's like just not giving you what you need, that also makes it really hard to get emotional. Like, in fact, saying that, 17 as well. 17 I used to get emotional because Jamie was so good at his monologue about watching his mum die. Like, he was always so good at being completely in that, and it used to just make me so, like, feel so sad for him.
Yeah, that's important, to have someone who's in it with you.
Yeah.
Because it's like you said, like, anything, little things like if the show goes wrong a bit, or someone drops a prop, or someone is laughing on stage, or someone is doing something, it literally goes, and now I'm back being me. And everything you've worked for is just gone out the window. My pet peeve, I have a pet peeve about crying. Which I know what your pet peeve is. I've told you loads of times about it. So I watched a UK tour a couple of years ago. I'm not going to say which show it was, because you probably work out who it was and what show it was. But there was this person in the tour that is quite an emotional show, but they were like on stage and they were having this like argument scene, like a couple of them, there's like 6 of them arguing. Then they all sort of disbanded, and then about a minute later they come back on, and like one of them comes back on to like sort of try and talk about the argument they just had. And I'm watching it thinking, yeah, this is good, this is good, this is good. And that person leaves, and then a minute later they come back on and they're in like floods of tears. I'm like, okay. And then they carry on the scene. But as soon as that happened for me, I'm like, that you're out of like, I can't feel emotional for you. I can't empathise with you, because you're just taking the best bit. Or, you know what I mean? Like, you get into that place, you've just taken it away from us by doing it in the wings.
You've removed the journey. You've shown us A and B, but none of the getting.
And all I'm thinking in my head, I'm thinking, well, you went into the wings, stabbed yourself in the eyes and sniffed an onion. You know what I mean? you know, I'm on in a minute, because someone blow my eyes, please, you know.
Yeah.
And that person probably didn't do that. They probably sat there and got in the zone, and started to cry, and then come on. But then it's just so manufactured.
Yeah.
And it's so like, if you're gonna get there, if you're gonna cry and be like emotional, I'd rather like see it on stage. You know, at the start of a scene where, you know, you might hear it in their voice, and then a minute later they're there. Because then you're like, oh my God, I feel for you.
Well, you're taking everyone with you on that journey.
Or if you can't get there, and sometimes if you can't get there, it's not warranted. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you're thinking, God, I can't cry in this bit, maybe you shouldn't cry.
Yeah.
It's like you saying, like, that bit in, what was it? I said no.
I say no, yeah. What, the plate with shoulder?
No, it's a bit before you said it's really small.
Oh, Our Love Is God.
Yeah, Our Love Is God. Yeah, so in Our Love Is God, it was so small. Maybe that's why you couldn't cry that much or get to that place, because the story had to carry on after that.
Yeah.
It didn't. The script and the song didn't warrant you going, oh my God, you know, breaking down. And I think if you can't get there, you can't get there, and it's not a bad thing. But also, if you're gonna cry, don't do it in the wings.
Yeah, take your audience with you.
Take your audience with you.
It's like you leave them behind. It's like there's A and B. A is not crying, B is crying.
Yeah.
So if you're at A, you need to bring the audience on that journey with you. Whereas if you disappear into the wings and then arrive at B, the audience is still at A.
Yeah.
So they're not going to be emotional for you.
When they came back on, I was like, that's weird.
Yeah.
And it sort of took me away from, I was like, oh, okay, now I can see you as you. You're not that character anymore. Because I can see that you've just gone in the wings and cried to make this scene more emotional.
Yeah.
But it's not. That's my little pet peeve about crying. Don't know if that's anyone else's pet peeve. Oh, it's really specific.
Well, ever since you said that, it is now my pet peeve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was that. Crying in the rain. Crying in the rain. Great song. Yeah, so that was that. Crying on cue. Crying on demand. Crying on demand. Let's watch it. Like Macy said, crying on demand, loads of different strategies, loads of different techniques. People might just be able to do that, which is great. And if you can do that, do it on stage, not in the wings.
Yeah.
Take us with you, and we'll appreciate it more and be like, oh my God, that person's really good at acting. Excellent. That's that. Right, everyone. Bye. Be safe out there. Don't cry in the wings. Unless something really bad happens, then cry in the wings.
Yeah.
But if you're taking us on a little journey in your musical,
Take us on the journey.
take us on the journey so we can see it. Want to see you excel and be amazing. Not poke your eyes in the wings and go, I know, upset. Yeah? Bye!
I need to pee so bad, I'm so sorry.
Oh, wow.